everyone. In this tutorials, I'm going to talk about serializer and deserializer, right? And we have seen some example how to use serializer in my previous tutorial. So you can visit my playlist and you can see here that the first example, the produce simple string message using producer API. In that examples, I have used a string serializer for the value and the string serializer for the key. So we are going to talk about this serializer part, that why are we using this serializer, right? And why we need this, and what are the serializer offered by the core Kafka, and if the required serializer is not available, then how we can create, and what are the constraints and the limitations of the Kafka cores, right? So let's start. So wow, what is serializer and why we need this serializer, right? So the requirement of the serializer is if we want to send data over the network, right? So we need some kind of technique so that we can achieve the high throughput and minimize the latency of the data transmissions over the network, right? So to overcome this problem, Java is offering serializer, right? So we use this serializer to serialize our Java object into the byte array and send that byte array over the network. So in the serialization, what's happened is data is converted into the byte array, and then this byte array is sent over the network, right, on the sender side. And what about the receiver side? On the receiver side, we use deserializer to serialize that byte array again into object so that the receiver can read that data, right? So we can see here in this picture, there is one the sender and another is the receiver. The sender will send the message or any complex object. Before sending, sender will use serializer to serialize this object into byte of array, and then the sender will send this byte of array over the network, and the receiver will receive the byte of array, and then the receiver will deserialize using deserializer, and receiver will get the original object back to read the data, right? So the same things happens in Kafka as well. So here the Kafka, in the term of Kafka, we can see here we have a producer. In the center we have a Kafka cluster, and on the right hand side we have a consumer application to consume the data, right? So what producer will do is producer will send the simple message or object, and using serializer the producer will serialize this in the byte of array, and the producer will send those data over the network in the form of byte of array, and the Kafka cluster will store this byte of array in the log file, and the consumer on the other hand will read the data in the form of byte of array, and the consumer will use deserializer to deserialize back to the object and read those data, right? So we need to understand what Kafka is offering to for serializer and deserializer. So for the basic features available here, that for the serializer and the deserializer offered by the Kafka is integer serializer, long serializer, short, double, float, byte buffer, byte serializer, and the string serializer, and the corresponding Kafka offering deserializer as well for the consumer API. So producer will use the serializer to serialize, and the consumer will use the deserializer to deserialize those data. If you want to learn more about this serializer and deserializer, we can visit this link and we can get more detail here. But these serializer and deserializer are not well enough to work on the real-time project. What about if we have a complex Java object? So how we can serialize and how we can send over the network? So we have only one option to write our own custom serializer, right? Because the core Kafka is not offering, but there is a Confluent Platform. The creator of Kafka, Jacob, he is founder of the Confluent Platform, right? So he is providing some serializer and the deserializer, right? So this Jacob, if you want to know about this, so we will see here that Jacob is the founder of the Kafka, and he has designed that Kafka at the LinkedIn. After that, he quit the job and he has started his own company named Confluent Platform. And Confluent Platform offering many more features to work on Kafka and maintain Kafka easily, right? So here, that's why I'm talking about the Confluent Platform. Is very popular in the industries. Industries using this Confluent Platform, right? So this Confluent Platform offering some important serializer to work on real-time projects that we have our serializer, Pro to buff and JSON schema. But the requirement is to use these serializer and deserializer, we need to install Confluent Platform. Without Confluent Platform, we cannot use these offered serializer. But what if you don't want to use this Confluent Platform, even though we want to serialize our the Java object and complex Java object? So we have only one option, is that we have to write our own custom serializer and deserializer, right? So we have options, we can write our own JSON serializer and deserializer, but there's only one dependency, is that we need to use Jackson package, right? Binder, data binder we need to use. So we will add these as a dependency in the form file, and then we will start writing our own JSON custom serializer. Actually, we have shown these examples in my tutorial. If you visit here, playlist. So I have second examples here, like send Java object as a message to Kafka. In that examples, I have shown you how to write JSON serializer, right? So you will see here in that examples, I have added Jackson core, because we need this to write our own JSON serializer. So go through this video and you will learn how to write JSON serializer to serialize Java object, right? And after that, the Avro serializer is very popular to work on serializer, and if you want to send data over the network to Kafka, then Avro is popular and better than the JSON, because JSON is not lightweight, is a bit heavy than the Avro serializer, because as we know the JSON keep the schema informations, and Java and JSON has a pair value key value pair, right? The JSON keep the field name and the value name as well. That's why even after serialization, JSON is really heavy to send data over the network, but it is popular because JSON serializer, after serialization, we can represent data as a string and we can print on the console data directly. That's why it is popular, but it is heavy to send on the network as compared to the Avro serializer, because Avro serializer is complete binary format, and Avro does not keep the schema detail with the data as well after serialization. That's why Avro is popular, more popular. It depends upon the needs when to use JSON, and if you prefer Avro, you can use Avro. But there is a dependency of Avro on the Confluent platform. So if you want to use Avro serializer, so definitely we need to install Confluent platform. And the Confluent is commercial product. So but even the Confluent profile is offering a community version, so we can install that community version on one machine only for the learning purpose, or we can use even as well, but only on one node. If you want to add more brokers, so we need to pay for license, right? So for learning purpose, we will install that Confluent platform, and we will write producer API using Avro serializer, that how to use Avro serializer and how to send data in the form of Avro serializer, and how we can read, how we can consume this Avro serializer. In the next video, we will learn these things. So thank you very much for this. Hope this video is clear to the topic, and I hope this is well enough to understand the concept of serializer and what are the common and default serializer is offered by the core Kafka, and what serializer is offered by the Confluent platform. So for the installation of Confluent platform, we have shown you the demo as well. You can check my playlist Apache Kafka. In that I have shown you an examples how to install the Confluent platform. So please install the Confluent platform and learn some basic command. Already I have shown in that examples. So please hands on that, and in the next video we will see how to use Avro serializer and write producer API. Thank you very much for these sessions.